Well, good morning, everyone. Here on the West Coast, it is 12:38 a.m. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to do a video, and today is August 29th, 2020. And I am going to be reading chapter 10, no, chapter 11 in the book Letters and Numbers. Letters and Numbers is a book written by Zachary K. Hubbard. And you can obtain a copy of this book by going to Zachary K. Hubbard's YouTube channels, either Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports. And in the description of each of his videos, Zachary K. Hubbard leaves a link under these videos so that you can purchase the book. It is a link to the book Letters and Numbers. This book costs $5. The best $5 you'll ever spend in your life, because the information in this book is priceless. And this book is about gematria, and gematria is about the encoding of numbers within your letters. Our letters are in fact numbers, so every word we speak has a numerical value. And the powers that shouldn't be, they craft things, words, phrases, everything by this code. And as you get this book and you read it, you'll begin to understand what I'm saying. This book, Letters and Numbers, it comes to you in a PDF file format. So once you pay for the book, it will come to you via email. You save the file to your whatever device you're going to use to read the book. You know, your Kindle, your iPad, your iBooks, Android, desktop computer, in your documents, wherever. But also, Zachary K. Hubbard left the copyright off this book so that you can take it to any bindery and have it bound into a book for your own personal library. He also wrote a second book, and the name of that book is called Number Games. That book is phenomenal as well. I've read maybe about half of a chapter in it, but even that information is going to be mind-blowing. But you can get that book on his blog page, and it is called GematriaEffectNews.blogspot.com. And the first thing you'll see at that page is the advertising for number games. And as you're scrolling through the blog, when you get to the information below the information about the book, there's information there on how to order the book within the United States or abroad. And also, this book will be coming to you via the mail as a paperback book. But if you become a Patreon on Zachary K. Hubbard's channels, at the $1 tier, you have access to the PDF files of both Letters and Numbers, as well as Number Games. So, do yourself a favor, learn this information. Every human being should know this information, and to just understand what is happening to us. The things that happens in our everyday lives, no, that's not scripted. That's what we do on our day-to-day basis. But anything that moves the masses, because of the propaganda machine, the TV, the media, everything, all of this stuff is scripted. Your sports, your movies tell you what they're going to do to you before they do it to us. It is just freaking amazing, and this code proves it. And earlier tonight, I was watching Zachary K. Hubbard's live feed on YouTube when he was decoding the information about Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman, he died, young man. He played Black in the movie Black Panther. He was a star. He was Black Panther. But the news reported him dying at the age of 43, when in fact this young man died at the age of 42. And when you know gematria, you know that the word nigger equates to 42. Jackie Robinson wore 42. Muhammad Ali, his name equated to 42. Bill Cosby, Martin, all of these things, I've told this information to a lot of people. They don't seem to get it. But this is a pure sickening mockery that they would say this young man died at 43 when he died at 42. And then they showed a picture of him, as he's, healthy. Then the next picture of him ill, but he had the hat 42 on. Still calling him a nigger. This stuff is sick. It is sick, sick, sick. And I encourage you guys to go and watch that video that Zach did on his it's on Gematria Effect News, I believe. And the name of the video is called Chadwick Boseman Dead at 42, Not 43, on Jackie Robinson Day in the MLB. August 28, 2020. And when you come to find out also that the word death equals 20, and I'm going to tell you which cipher that equals 20 in. And I'm going to get to reading shortly here. Just bear with me. Death. Okay, the word death in reduction equals 20. And we are in the year 2020. That's why we've seen phenomenal deaths. Coronavirus. Entertainers. Just way more than normal, because the word death equates to 20, and we're going to see more deaths because this is a wicked world we live in. But now back to the word nigger. N-I-G-G-E-R. And if I'm offending anyone for saying that word, I am sorry, but this needs to be known. Now just know that Mr. Chadwick Boseman, he had a cap on that had 42 because, of course, he played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42. I'm assuming. I think that was the name of the movie. But Jackie Robinson, nevertheless, he wore the number 42. But anyway, the word nigger. N is 5, I 9, G 7, G 7, E 5, R 9. So you would have 5 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 9. That gives you 42. And this word is so cleverly done that the word Negro equals 59. So the first two letters in the word nigger is 5 and 9. N-I 59, Negro 59, and the last two letters of the word nigger, ER 59, 59, Negro again. I mean, please, people, wake up. We have to wake up to what is really taking place, and how the mockery and how all of these people, especially people that look like me, sell us out for money. For money. It's a sick world, and once you realize that this is exactly what is taking place, there is a code in place, and it is sick. But what I'm going to do is that I am going to be reading chapter 11, and as I progress through this book, you're going to come to understand about the number 42 more and more and more, especially when it comes to the black people in this country or all over the world. And believe me, every race is affected by this code, because they kill people are killed by this code of all walks of life, all races, but it's disproportionately done to the black race. And you'd be surprised how many of our black brothers and sisters are willing participants in these psyops that appear real, but a lot of it is not, because you have to know, news is propaganda. Hollywood, I mean, the whole world is a stage, and when you know what to look for, once you learn this code, you will be knowing what is what, because Gematria exposes it all. It exposes everything. So without further ado, just make sure you get the book for yourself. I don't have the greatest reading voice, but for people who may not have the time to read, or would rather listen to what this book is saying, that's what I'm here to do, as clearly and as understandable as possible. So if you come across this video, if you like the work, please give it a like and a share, so someone else can find out about this information. And with that said, I am going to continue on with chapter 11 from Letters and Numbers, and it is entitled, chapter 11 is The G-Spot, Freemasonry and Washington, D.C. And hopefully you can hear me. It's like 12:48 in the morning here, so I don't want to wake anyone up because I have a big mouth, a loud voice. So I am going to still try to read to where you can understand, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me. So here we go. The G-Spot, Freemasonry and Washington, D.C. You've likely heard of the G-Spot before. It is typically mentioned in regards to that magical sexual spot for women. We'll get to that one too, but it isn't where we're going to begin. Instead, we're going back to the U.S. Capitol. Another G-Spot, Washington, D.C., where it couldn't possibly be any more G. Recall, G is the 7th letter in the English alphabetic order, and in the case of D.C., DC's location, it is on the 77th meridian west, known as the American Meridian, a number being a rep digit of 7, and a nickname being well deserved when you recognize the gematria of United States and America. United States equates to 77 in reverse reduction cipher. America equates to 49 in the reverse reduction cipher. Could it be any more perfect? The American Meridian is the 77th, and United States equates to 77. The reason this coordinate is so is because of the International Meridian Conference of 1884, where it was agreed for DC to be on the 77th. That was the same year the Fabian Society was established, which George Orwell was a member of, who wrote the book 1984, which we'll learn more about in chapters ahead. But for now, recall what you learned last chapter, where United States of America sums to 84, as does Masonry, among other things. At the same time, if you use the Chaldean ciphers, 1984, written as a word, 1984, the way the original book cover is written, there are 42 total covers made for the book. Okay, and United States of America equate to 77. So what he's saying here is that at the same time, if you use the Chaldean ciphers 1984 and United States of America, both, they equate to 77. Also relevant, Fabian, using the ALW Kabbalah cipher, equates to 77, and not by chance. Okay, alrighty. So 1984, United States of America, they both equal 77 in the Chaldean cipher, and the word Fabian equates to 77 in the ALW Kabbalah cipher. Back on the subject of the 77th meridian, if you multiply the two digits of 77 as 7 times 7, the product is 49, matching the value of America as well as Washington, as we learned earlier. Even better, if you write out 77 as a word and do the math in reduction, you find it too sums to 49. As we calculate, let us not forget that the square root of 49 is 7, bringing us back to G, the letter in the middle of the Freemason logo, just beneath the compasses, set at 47 degrees, where the divisors of 4 sum to 7, and 7 is the 4th prime number. So 77 equates to 49 in reduction cipher, Washington equates to 49 in the reduction cipher. In the septenary cipher, American meridian also equates to 49. American meridian, 49, septenary cipher. Alrighty. Keep in mind the letters D, C are the fourth and third letters. Thus, if you add them together, the result is yet another 7. Our number representing divine completion. As I've said, these tyrants at the top who've set up shop in the U.S. Capitol, they think they're God. We'll put them in their place soon enough, truth seeker. It's centuries overdue. The Talmud isn't the authority, and they're going to learn it the hard way, only because they have asked for it. DC is 4 plus 3 equals 7. Federal equates to 77 in Francis Bacon's cipher. And on the subject of God, as we have learned in reduction gematria, the name sums to 17, which is the 7th prime number. Okay? Speaking of God, the gematria list of 187 pertinent to DC that we learned about earlier, including George Washington, Washington D.C., ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and Society of Jesus, is again derived from the 187 chapters of the Torah and the Hebrew gematria of Elohim. In numerology terms, 187 is 7. Think about it. God created the world in 7 days according to Genesis, the first book of the Holy Bible, which is very heavy with the number 7 from start to finish. Speaking of the finish, Revelation having reduction gematria of 49 as well, the number again having a square root of 7 has more 7 symbolism than any other book of the Bible, including 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 angels, 7 trumpets, and so on. And that is important because the name Philadelphia comes from Revelation, which was the capital prior to being located momentarily to New York before settling at Washington, D.C., where it has been ever since. So the word revelation equates to 49 in the in the reduction cipher. Revelation 49 reduction cipher. Making matters even more interesting, if you multiply 7 times 17, what we can think of as God numbers, you get the product of 119, corresponding with the gematria of USA, as we learned prior, and which reminds of the fateful day, September 11, 2001, which had a whole lot of 77 going on. For a quick reminder in tragic U.S. history by the numbers, it was Flight 77 that reportedly hit the 77-foot-tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian on September 11, 2001, exactly 77 minutes after taking off, according to the 9/11 Commission report, taking off at 8:20 a.m. and crashing at 9:37 a.m. Even better if you write out September 11th as words, it totals 77 in reduction. And if you write out Flight 77 in the Chaldean cipher, it too totals 77. It is just crazy. There are some gold nuggets I'm holding back on that 77 pattern. We'll mine them in on the chapter on September 11th, rest assured. And yes, with my language, I'm trying to be cute and pay homage to the 49 gold rush, all part of U.S. history by the numbers. What we will learn in that chapter is the ritual on September 11th had much to do with Solomon's temple, dating back to ancient Jerusalem and King Solomon, who used to get an annual shipment of 666 talents of gold. Of course, Solomon's temple is where the secrets lie that are taught about in Freemasonry, the secret society. As we learned last chapter, secret society also shares gematria of 77. Let us calculate one more time for good measure. Secret society, it equates to 77 in reverse reduction, and he has all the numbers there. But once you get the book for yourself, or either type it into the calculator at gematrinator.com, you can see the number values for yourself. Okay, if you're paying attention, 8:20 a.m., the time flight 77 took off, is the 500th minute of the day, a fitting time to take off for crashing into the five-sided Pentagon that has 5 stories above ground and a 5-acre court in the middle. As for the time it crashed, that was the 577th minute of the day, which is the 106th prime number. Okay, and it says, plus I see a 77 there. Do you? Okay, in numerology terms, the number 106 breaks down to 7. Okay, 1 plus 0 plus 6 equates to 7. Thus far, we have largely neglected this number, 106, but it is a big one, representing the words authority, tree of life, and prophecy. Speaking of which, Israel was recognized as a nation on a date with 106 numerology. And Israel was recognized as a nation on a date with 106 numerology, November 19th, 1947. The tyrants at the top, because they believe they're God's chosen people, they think they're in control of prophecy. Which is why they plan the future by this code. If you read about the criticisms of Kabbalah, one big one is that it is used for divination, which has to do with future telling. As we know, the psychopaths who are responsible for 9/11 and a whole lot more are most definitely planning the future by the numbers and executing events by the code. The word authority equates to 106 in reverse ordinal. The word prophecy equates to 106 in ordinal. Tree of life equates to 106. Reverse reduction, E as 22. As we know, the psychopaths are Zionists. If you've ever heard the phrase, the world is a stage, it no doubt came from this gang, the same group that controls Hollywood, the biggest theater stage there is. And these tyrants most certainly make good use of the motto, staging incidents meant to impact the mind's eye of the masses, as they so effectively do, so that they can carry on their agenda with little interference. Incidents such as September 11, 2001 being prime examples of the effectiveness of their tactics. Okay, think about what happened in the wake of the date of the Patriot Act and the wars of aggression that benefit only Israel. If you're not aware, it was Ehud Barak. His name is spelled E-H-U-D. Ehud Barak, the former defense minister and prime minister of Israel, who called for the United States to launch a war on terrorism on September 12th. And let me spell this man's name again. It is E-H-U-D-B-A-R-A-K. Ehud Barack. Okay. Alrighty. So he was the one that called for a war on terrorism on September 12th, one day after the planned theatrics of the day prior. It was a Zionist who coined that term and asked for that war, which we are now still engaged in 16 years later and counting. A war that has only made the world less safe. Think about it. And now this book has been written for about 2 years, so I'm assuming we're about 19 years into the war now. So, okay, think about it. Overnight, a war was born, and a collection of bills that had been tried and failed in Congress for the past several decades were rammed through in the name of protecting us from the boogeyman in the cave, supposedly in Afghanistan. As a result, we the people lost our rights, and the federal government gained much power and greater control over the masses. In light of the motto, "The world is a stage," let us now decode the words power, Zionist, Judaism, and theater. For all but Zionists will use ordinal gematria, our most straightforward method, and for Zionists we'll use reverse ordinal. Okay, the word power equates to 77 in the ordinal cipher. The word theater equates to 77 in the ordinal cipher. The word Zionist equates to 77 in the reverse ordinal cipher. Judaism equates to 77 in the ordinal cipher. And Donald J. Trump equates to 77, reverse reduction, P as 11. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Take a moment to think about the mathematics of 11 times 7, or 7 times 11. The product is 77. The product is 77. I bring this up because September 11, once upon a time, was the 7th month and the 11th day. That was when we were on the Julian calendar, before we converted to the Gregorian system, moving the new year to the dead of winter instead of the time of new beginnings, spring. Speaking of calendars, New Year's Day for the Old World Coptic Christians is September 11th. This is a date that many contend is the birthday of Christ, also summing to 77 in ordinal gematria. If you've read the Bible, you know that in Luke there are 77 generations to Jesus, which completely contradict the 42 generations to Jesus that begin the New Testament in Matthew. For those who contend the book was written by God, I tell you, you shouldn't have to make excuses for God's inaccuracies. He apparently can't even keep the lineage of his own son in line, just books apart. After all, God is the perfect creator, but perhaps not the perfect author. The word Christ equates to 77 in ordinal. Back on the subject of theater, when Barack Obama became president, after telling the world to forget about the lies of September 11 and that it was water under the bridge, he reopened Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., where Lincoln was supposedly once killed by an actor. In case you forgot, Obama represented Illinois, the land of Lincoln, as it's often called. In the chapter on U.S. presidential assassinations, we'll get to what a numerological ordeal his assassination was. What was funny about Obama reopening the theater was it had been closed since 1977, emphasis on 77. Do you get the joke? Flight 77 hitting the 77 tall Pentagon. Oh my God. If you listened carefully, you could hear the belly laughs coming all the way over from Israel and the Vatican that day. In Gematria, Ford's Theater also computes to 77 when the reverse reduction method is used, and H is 10. Ford's Theater, 77. Reverse reduction, H is 10. If you do the math, the theater was closed from 77 to 2009, thus 32 years. The number 32 also connects to theater, as well as Barack Obama. When the reduction method is utilized, the name Obama alone sums to 32 in ordinal gematria. Theater equates to 32 in reduction. Barack Obama, 32 in reduction. Obama equates to 32 in the ordinal cipher. Don't forget the date of establishment for the nation, or the 32 paths in Kabbalah. The date numerology was as follows: 7/4/1776. Okay, 7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 7 plus 7 plus 6 equates to 32. Also, about the Lincoln assassination, it was at the Willard Hotel in D.C. where Lincoln had his first assassination scare, February 23rd, 1861. That was exactly 216 weeks before being shot on Good Friday, April 4th, 1865, and dying the next day, April 15th, reportedly at 7:22 a.m., reminding of our math equation for solving for pi, 22 divided by 7. For a couple more 77s, Willard Hotel equates to the DC oriented number with the reverse reduction method when H is 10. And if you write out April 15th, the date of Lincoln's passing, it too sums to 77 in reverse reduction, matching the 77 gematria of Ford's Theater. Later, we'll uncover the parallels between the death of Lincoln and Hitler, who are both blamed for wars, and who both passed at the end of the wars they're blamed for, in April at age 56. Coronavirus equals 56. Man, as I've said before, this gang is very repetitive, and this gang is the New World Order that treats the world as a stage. The Willard Hotel, Willard Hotel equates to 77 in reverse reduction, H as 10. April 15th, written as a word, equates to 77 reverse reduction. And I mean written as words, 2 words, April 15th. Okay? Now to take this back to the G spot, let us decode Willard Hotel and Ford's Theater in reduction gematria. With this method, we will decode the very familiar 58. We'll also revisit our prior list of 58 from chapters earlier that pertains to Washington, D.C., the highly Freemasonic city. So, here we go. Willard Hotel equates to 58 in reduction. Ford's Theater, 58 reduction. Freemasonry equates to 58 in reduction. Rosicrucian, 58 in reduction. Rose Cross equals 58 reverse reduction. Fraternal equals 58 reverse reduction. Secret Society equals 58 reduction. Solomon's Temple equals 58 in reduction. Herod's Temple equals 58 in reverse reduction. Tracing Board equals 58 in reduction. Jerusalem equals 58 reverse reduction. Craftsman equals 58 reverse reduction. United States equates to 58 in reduction, S as 10. Washington equates to 58 in reduction, S as 10. We the people equates to 58 in reduction. In God we trust equates to 58 in reduction. Annuit coeptus equals 58 in reduction. Don't tread on me equals 58 in reduction. The word power equals 58 in reverse ordinal. The word press equals 58 reverse ordinal. The phrase big brother equates to 58 in ordinal. After re-examining the very significant list of 58, want to take a guess at the gematria of G-spot? If you guessed 58, give yourself a pat on the back. And to go a little deeper, think about the Kabbalah tree of life, where Yesod, Y-E-S-O-D, represents the sexual organs. G-spot equates to 58 reverse ordinal. Yesod, Y-E-S-O-D, equates to 58 ALW Kabbalah cipher. Now consider this. Instruments of geometry surround the Freemason logo with the G in the middle. They are the compasses and the square. Let us take a moment to decode the word vagina, knowing what we have learned about the gematria of the word geometry. The math is as follows. Vagina equates to 108 reverse ordinal. Geometry equates to 108 in the ordinal cipher. Geometry equates to 108 in the reverse ordinal cipher. And gematrio, the plural pronunciation of gematria, so gematrio equates to 108 in the ordinal cipher. Think about it. Geometry, gematrio, gematria, all beginning with G. For those experienced in lovemaking, you know it is a measured course, not unlike geometry. For us men, if you want to please the woman, you have to hit spots and connect the dots, if you know what I'm saying. And speaking of love, let us compare the gematria of the word vagina and penis. The word vagina equates to 54 in ordinal. The word penis equates to 54, reverse reduction, P as 11 and E as 22. The word love equates to 54 in ordinal, and the word love equates to 54, reverse ordinal. Okay, the word 45, the number written as a word, 45 equates to 54 in reduction. And let's see. Oh, and it equates to 45 in reverse reduction. Wow. And 45 is the reflection of 54. So let me read that again. 45 written as a word equates to 54 in reduction, and it equates to 45 in reverse reduction. 126 in ordinal, 117 in reverse ordinal. 54 equates to 50, and that's 54 written as a word. 54 equals 54 in reduction, 45 reverse reduction, 126 in ordinal, and 117 reverse ordinal. So perfect match, perfect overlap in each of the four ciphers. Wow. Let us not forget, Washington, D.C. is the same city that pays tribute to Osiris's phallus with the 555-foot tall Washington Monument. As I write this, it is also the same city with the groper-in-chief Donald Trump, who boasted to Billy Bush, the relative of the last Republican president, King George II, about how because of his celebrity status, he could grab him by the pussy in regards to any woman of his choosing. That news story was released October 7th, 2016, a span of 33 days before the rigged selection, and not by coincidence. Supposedly, the recording released that date was from 2005, but I guarantee you, when it was recorded with the intent of being played that exact day for Trump's well-planned and very rigged selection. As for the number 33, we know it connects to G, federal, masonry, secrecy, Gnostic, and also sex, as well as Billy Bush and Trump's family's original name, Drumpf. Drumph. It also connects to October, the lone month with 33 gematria, when the audio tape was put out. So, the letter G equates to 33 in the Francis Bacon cipher. The word sex equates to 33 reverse ordinal. The word Drumph, Drumph, equates to 33 in reduction. Billy Bush equates to 33 in the septenary cipher. The word October equates to 33 in reduction. The date of the recording release was one with numerology of 33 as well as 53. Regarding the number 53, recall how it connects to the gematria of womb as well as Vesica Pisces. What is the womb of the universe? Okay, so 10, 7, 16, October 7, 16. You add 10 plus 7 plus 16, that gives you 33. 10 slash 7 slash 2016, you add 10 plus 7 plus 20 plus 16, and that gives you the equation of 53. If you think about the history of sex in D.C., you'll likely also think of Kennedy, who was said to have brought his women in through the back door, as well as Clinton, as in Bill Clinton, the husband of Trump's opponent Hillary. Kennedy equates to 33 in reduction. Clinton equates to 33 in reduction. And in light of G-spot gematria, in light of G-spot gematria, let us not forget that Donald Trump was the winner of the 58th presidential election, who hired 58-year-old Steve Ray many months after announcing he was running for president from the 58th story Trump Tower. Fittingly, the name Bush, as in Billy Bush, who he was talking to, also contains the gematria of 58. So the word Bush equates to 58 reverse ordinal. George W. Bush equates to 58 in reduction. And for the record, vagina and Trump Tower share gematria of 45, matching Trump becoming the 45th U.S. president. As we decode, recall how geometry as well as gematria each equate to 45. Wow. So the word vagina equates to 45 in reduction. V as 22. Trump Tower equates to 45 in the septenary cipher. On a related note, on August 10th, 2017, or 10/8, Sinking with Vagina, Taylor Swift testified about another man groping her vagina, at least according to news headlines and media sketches. Again, if it's in the news, it's always manufactured by the code, which tells you all you need to know. It's fake. It is fake. Please take a moment to visit my blog at freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, where I have captured the propaganda in the headlines every single day of the calendar year, dating back to 2013. If you look at the headlines from August 10th, 2017, Taylor Swift's testimony story was on the front page next to a picture of Donald Trump for the entire day, and certainly not by coincidence. And certainly not coincidentally, but instead all part of the monumental mocking. Speaking of which, let us decode Swift to see how it factors into the equation. The word Swift equals 77 in ordinal. The word Swift equates to 58 reverse ordinal. At the time of her testimony, she was 27 years old, also connecting to the gematria of vagina, as well as penis and dick. One more time, to make sure you're hearing me. Everything in the news is manufactured by the code. Vagina equates to 27 in reduction. The word dick equates to 27 in reduction, K as 11. The word penis equals 27 in reduction. The word penis equals 27 in reverse reduction. For a teaching moment, anytime the media emphasizes words like with quotation marks, anytime the media emphasizes words, there is gematria behind them. This headline from CNN, August 10th, 2017. I guess that's the end of chapter 11. But so let me just show you this headline here. It's at the bottom of the page, and it's you can see there. Okay, horrifying and shocking. That's the what we're looking at right there. So, and it says Taylor Swift testifies that groping was horrifying and shocking. So if you can see the quotation marks around in that headline where it says horrifying and shocking, the little quotation marks around there, that's where the gematria is, and that equated to 108 in reverse reduction. And as we know, gematria is 108. And that is the end of chapter 11, and I will be back a little bit later to read chapter 12. You guys have a good morning, good day tomorrow, and share this information and look up other people who are in this truth as well. Simple Truth Television, that's the name of his YouTube channel. He also has a blog page called simpletruth.blogspot.com. Look up gematriaaltium.blogspot.com. Great information there. Chigozie Truth, his YouTube channel, he does great work. Kayla the Code Talker, doing great work. Zenith of the Alpha, he's on YouTube. Dan Barrett, Derek, Gematrinator.com. Make sure you visit his website and click on the blogs tab to find his videos and his blogs as well, and other people that have blog pages that are listed there. But get this information out to as many people as you can. Read this information, understand it, so that you can know for sure what's going on. Because with gematria, you don't have to guess. You know, because they are using this code. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.